What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Packs to Riches. We're back with another episode, and in case you remember the last episode, we did have somewhat of a rocky start to Division 9, and I think we only have 4 points after the first 4 games. So what I did is I went back to the drawing board and changed my gameplay and my tactics. You can see my custom tactics screen right here, and what I did is I made my team much more aggressive. If you look at the defense at the bottom, pressure and aggression are at 85 and 75 respectively, and the defender line is on coverage. So what I want to do is basically hunt down my opponents when they come towards my goal and not be in the position that I was in before in the previous couple of episodes, where my opponents were often one-on-one with my goalkeeper because my defensive line was just not working properly. In terms of the play instructions, I think I showed most of that in the previous episode already, but both my left back and my right back, I changed them to stay back while attacking. Now in this year's FIFA, both left backs and right backs, they move forward quite a bit, even if you have them at stay back while attacking, but if you have them on that setting, I guess they stay back as much as they can while still moving forward, because that's how the programming has made it this year basically. The team we're using is still the same as before, so it's the La Liga BPL hybrid with 3 La Liga players in the current setup on the left side, so Carrasco, Ben Yedder and the other Atletico Madrid player. The rest of the team, a BPL team with a lot of Spanish players to link both sides together. Jagielka, as you can see at the bottom, is basically gone because his loan has expired, so we will use another defender in a little bit when we go into the first match. The first opponent we come up against, and as you can see right here, I was right, 4 games, 4 points, so we should improve in today's episode. The first opponent we come up against has a total random team, no links at all, not even yellow ones. Gignac as a striker, probably the best player, and also Dahoud in midfield, the Gladbach player. Now, I changed my gameplay in a lot of dimensions, to be honest. I will show you the most crucial ones in today's episode, and I will comment what I've done and how it has changed my gameplay basically. One of the things that I use constantly now is triggering runs while passing. So as you can see right here, we have the ball, the striker, press L1 while passing back to the midfielder, and then the striker runs forward automatically and we can pass it basically to a free striker. And as you can see right here, we created a pretty good chance with it. Weren't fortunately enough to convert it eventually, but we create a lot of chances with the same tactic. Here again, we have the ball, press L1 while passing, and Obiang, I think it is, runs forward. We can pass it to him, and he's totally free, and a low shot, which is another thing I implemented over the past couple of weeks. We make it 1-0, dab on our opponent, and we're in a pretty good position to move forward in that game. As I said before, triggering runs and low shots especially are something that work pretty well for me. As you can see right here, low shot to the long post. I was scored with that. I was scored on with those shots quite a bit in the past episodes, and now I just implement it into my own gameplay. Taking corners is also something I've changed. I use L2, R2 dribbling right now, as you can see right here. A little bit unfortunately that we don't convert it with Obiang, I think it was, who didn't accept the ball well enough, but the midfielder that we used to take the corner managed to get into the box quite easily with L2, R2 dribbling. Now in this scene you see how coverage basically works, that even if our opponent strikers have the ball, they immediately hunt it down by our center backs, and we can create a chance right away. Another aspect that I've changed is, again, basically this triggering runs plus the make players run forward. So 1-2 passing, as you can see right here, not really working 100%, but we managed to get the ball to the player on the wing. Cut inside, messed it up a little bit, but the ball still managed to get to, I think, Ben Yedder it is, who makes it 2-0 for our team against that pretty random opponent here. And I think there was the 2-0 right before halftime, I think it is. Already 17 minutes gone and still 2-0, but now we really push forward. Again, one of those triggered runs. Ben Yedder has the ball, low shot, but in this case we only hit the post and it doesn't bounce back to us, which also sometimes happens, so still 2-0. However, ball roll, Obiang passing onto the wing to Carrasco, and then something else I've implemented is the ball roll into the box, as you can see right here. Totally empty passing line to Ben Yedder, and Ben Yedder makes it 3-0. The ball rolls in the box is something that is pretty easy to do, and is something that not a lot of opponents expect. They expect you to cut inside right away, either with the barber spin or something else, but the ball roll and especially the ball roll that is in the direction of the goal. Not a lot of players expect that, so it has worked pretty well for me. Now we get a free kick and convert it with, I think, Carrasco. It's nothing that I've really changed, but sometimes I take those free kicks directly. Sometimes I pass it, but that is more or less a byproduct of my tactical changes. And in the end, it was already decided at that point, but we still managed to score 2 more goals against an opponent that has basically given up the game at that point. But anyway, we take all the goals. I think you don't get any more coins, but still, scoring goals is fun. And it really plays, like, the game plays totally different now with those game changes, both in tactics and in the way I use my gameplay at the moment. I feel in control in the game, which is not something that has happened in the past. I felt pressured by my opponent, but by now, and as you can see by the match facts right here, we were the dominating team, and I really felt I was in control in that game. Now we buy Barragan here, the BPL right back from Spain. Fits into our team setup perfectly as a BPL right back, and Spanish, so that works pretty well, especially since Damian was low on fitness, so we needed a player to substitute him with. And now we have 2 options that we can basically run. And one game Damian plays, the other game the new right back from Middlesbrough, I think it was, is taking his spot. The next opponent, a bit better in terms of chemistry, is basically a full BPL team with 2 players totally out of chemistry. I think they were in position though. I think a Norwegian left back and a championship center attacking mid, but it's definitely a better opponent than the previous one. Again, it really shows in this case how this aggressive defending, even on the opponent's half, works. So if you look in this scene right here, how long it takes us to get the ball back. So our opponent has the ball, but basically hunt him down with our striker already. The wingers are aggressive as well. We get the ball right here. Don't manage to do anything with it. The opponent gets the ball again pretty soon. But again, we hunt him down immediately, and it doesn't take us a long time to get the ball back. He passes it around in his own half. We get it back right away. He doesn't even manage to leave his own half, and we get the ball. However, we are fouled, but none of this could have happened basically with a custom tactics that weren't as aggressive as they are right now. Again, we trigger the run, pass it to the other French striker we have, not Ben Yedder, but Plea, I think it is. Again, another low shots, and we make it 1-0. So these 2 changes are probably the most crucial ones. The triggering runs while passing that you do with L1 while you pass, then the passing player basically runs forward and you can pass it to him and basically outsmart the defense. Has worked pretty well for me. And of course the low shots that are pretty hard to defend in this year's FIFA. Again, ball roll into the box, pass it back to one of our midfielders, and I tried to do shielding here. I tried using shielding. I run into the opponent's defender, and for some reason it gives me a penalty, which obviously I'll accept happily. And another trick that I found on YouTube is to take the penalties and score them. Basically, don't shoot the ball with a lot of power, but just do a very low-powered shot that basically is hard to defend, because either the goalkeeper jumps into the opposite direction, then it's a goal automatically. But even if he guesses the right position, the right direction, most of the time he jumps above it. So that way the penalties, I at least I found out in the past couple of weeks, I have a pretty high conversion ratio taking them in such a low powered way. Now we get scored on once in this game by basically our opponent had a free kick. The rebound we didn't clear perfectly, and our opponent managed to score. But in any way, we still felt in control again. Another one of those nice runs over the wings, but in this case, the opponent's defender defends that ball pretty well. I think we have the same situation over again as we sent Nasri, I think it is, in this case, on the wing. Pass it to our French striker, and again, he doesn't hit the goal, but as you can see at the top left, the game was already over at that point. Much more even than the first game, but again, we get this 2 points, and by now, starting with 4 games and 4 points, now we have 6 games and 10 points. Definitely a better situation than before. 2 games, 2 wins, and now we basically have 1 more game to win, and then we win the Division 9 title. This is the team we currently have, so no, not a lot of changes, but as we will be promoted soon and maybe even win the title, there should be a lot of investments to be done. Let me know in the comments down below what you think I should change. Do you want me to keep the setup as it is right now with the La Liga BPL hybrid? Is there anything else you want me to change? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next episode.